What's going on, Bourbon family? Hey, we're going to have some fun tonight. I want to go ahead and dive into Old Elk. So, you might be wondering, who is Old Elk? And I'm sure you've seen it on the shelf. You may have had a bottle or two. You may have thought, well, should I buy this? So we're going to go ahead and dive into Old Elk tonight. I'm going to change up a little bit though. Not just one single review on one bottle. There's actually 3 up here. But not just a review on one bottle. Let's just kind of have, let's call it a lesson on Old Elk Distillery. Is that cool? Alright. Alright, so when you think of Old Elk, who are they, Bourbon Judge? Hit me with like just a high level quick overview. So, Old Elk Distillery, based out in Colorado. They've been around for about 5 years. And when the owner decided to, hey, you want to go you want to go into the bourbon business, who are you going to partner with? Who's going to be your master distiller? So they're very smart. I give them credit. They reached out to, I'm talking like creme de la creme, when you think of like, true names in the bourbon world, you got the Russell family, and of course, there's a lot of other names too, but you have the Russell family, and then you also have Greg Metz. So Greg Metz, who worked over at, was Seagram's, now MGP. He was there for 38 years. Most recently as the master distiller at MGP. So you want to talk about an expert, somebody who knows everything about bourbon, whiskey, rye, you name it. Greg Metz is truly the man, the myth, the legend. So I got to give a shout out, by the way, just straight up in terms of Old Elk, reaching out and getting Greg Metz to be their master distiller for Old Elk. So that's pretty cool by itself. But again, so they started up back in 2016, hired Greg. The distillery actually opened back in 2019. So obviously, as you're laying down new bourbon, what else are you going to do? Where are you going to get all your bourbon from? How you're going to get it and so forth? Of course, Greg made some phone calls back to MGP, which is where they're still getting a lot of their bourbon today. So what do they produce? So they make bourbons. They make wheated bourbons. You got a rye here. They make a wheat whiskey. So they make a variety of different types of bourbons and whiskeys in general. They also, what I think is important is to say, is they also have a huge single barrel program. So for example, this one right here is a wheated bourbon. It's a single barrel and it's coming out of the Philadelphia Whiskey Society. So nice single barrel from Philadelphia Whiskey Society. I should say the proof on this bad boy is 114.3. They also have a ton of finished bourbons, and that's another cool thing I will give Greg a lot of credit for. In addition to like the standard bourbon, rye, and the wheated bourbon and so forth, they also have some finished bourbons, if you will. So they have, this one here is the Armagnac finish, Armagnac cask finish. They recently released, and these are more on the East Coast. It might be nationwide as well, but they recently released, in addition to this Armagnac, I've seen the sherry, I've seen a port. So they have a variety of different finished bourbons as well. So we're kind of starting to play in that space. One thing I like about Old Elk, even though again they're getting a lot of their bourbon, I get it, or a lot of the whiskey in general from MGP. The cool thing I like about it is that it's never really overpriced. It's anywhere from $50 to like $85. So I'll say like $50 more like the small batch. As you get into more of the ryes, the single barrels, or your finished cask finished different bourbons, they range only anywhere from like $75 to $80, but no more. And I like that. That is pretty cool. Another interesting fact about Old Elk, you will see on the back of the bottle, each and every one, not everyone, but at least the ones I have, aged 5 years. Aged 5 years. Aged 5 years. So we know the age statement, and that's cool too. Always aged 5 years, so that's good. That's really, honestly, when you think about it, that's a really good age for most bourbons. Anywhere from that like 4 or 5 up to like 7 year mark is really a good sweet spot for most bourbons, which is great. I'm gonna go ahead and pour one, because why have a review talking about Old Elk when I'm not gonna sip one? That would be ridiculous. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna pour this Armagnac. So, all right. So the last thing I will say about them is that in Colorado, if you do have a chance to go and experience it, they actually have a full restaurant. So it's a full straight up restaurant. They have a restaurant. They have the distillery, of course, as well. But it's like that true overall experience where you can get the distillery experience in your tours, and you can also do the whole restaurant experience also. I like that because the Bourbon Judge loves a good meal. All right, let me get to this nose a little bit. One other thing I will say, so recently, Old Elk recently came out with what they refer to as almost like their specialty, their top of the line. They call it the Infinity bottle. So what does that even mean? Their specialty Infinity release is essentially very similar to like Bardstown Bourbon Company. It's a mix of 3 different bourbons. It's primarily their own juice that they have from obviously MGP, and then the other 2 are 11 and 12 year aged bourbon that they source from Kentucky. So it's very similar to the Bardstown approach and other companies as well. They're using a little bit of their own that they get from MGP, in addition to sourcing some older aged bourbons, age 11, age 12 years. That bottle is a little bit more pricey though. That's the only one that's a bit more pricey. It's like $135-ish with tax. You're probably paying anywhere close to like $150. So a bit more expensive for that bottle itself. But again, that is like their top of the line, their specialty bottle as a whole for Old Elk. I can't lie. So I had the Old Elk small batch, 88 proof, $50. I thought it was just okay. The small batch, I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It was just for $50. I just felt like there were better products out there. I will say though, this single barrel wheated bourbon, this Armagnac I had the other night, are absolutely delicious. So, if you have a chance to find Old Elk, maybe not the small batch, but one of like the single barrels, a cask finish, or even one of the ryes, you may want to try to pick it up. Anywhere from $50 to $85. In my opinion, it might be worth it. Hey, I say this each and every week. You guys know me. I appreciate everyone out there. Thank you for all the love, all the support. Thank you for always watching the Bourbon Judge and just, give me great feedback, great insights. If you haven't done thus far, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And as we say in this courthouse, baby, cheers. Ooh. Damn. That is so good. I love that Armagnac finish. It produces like your traditional bourbon notes, but tons of like berries in there, tons of like strawberries, some blackberries kind of folded in, even with like a little bit of like note of like some clove almost mixed in there as well. But the traditional caramel and brown sugar, that's in there as well. This, I think this is like $80 on the dot. Absolutely amazing bottle. Straight up amazing. I gotta get a little bit more. Oh my gosh, that nose too. Goodness gracious. So damn good. Damn, that is good. Wow. Woo! What's the proof on this one? 108.5. For a 108.5, that has some nice serious kick and a long finish. To me, it actually sips more closer to like a 115, even a 120 bourbon. That's really good. Oh, hell. I got the wheated bourbon here too. Might as well sip that one. You know how we do in this courthouse. Again, I wanted just to kind of get Old Elk on the channel because I haven't reviewed one of their bourbons before or any of their ryes. Again, I saw, like I said, the small batch I've had before. I thought it was just okay. But their specialty finishes, their single barrel expressions, their ryes, truly, folks, if you have a chance to find it, that's one thing I love about, a newer distillery like Old Elk. Greg is producing some fantastic bourbon. I love the specialty cash finish as well. And it's one where you don't have to really worry about secondary. If you find it, you see it on the shelf, it's definitely worth a buy. Hey, I'm out of here for tonight. Peace. Cheers, salute. I appreciate each and every one of you out there. Cheers, gents and ladies. Wow.